Welcome to episode 17 of the LoraineCounty.com Business Insights Podcast. I'm your host, Ed Skimmon, and today we're talking with Matt Mishak, managing attorney of Mishak Law. Join us as Matt talks about how his firm utilizes advanced technology to enhance client services in the areas of family law, domestic relations, and criminal defense. We'll dive into his experience at Legal Week in New York, where he explored the potential of AI technologies like ChatGPT and how these innovations serve as a force multiplier for his firm. Matt also talks about his journey from government attorney to technology enthusiast and how he's shaping a positive work environment while aiming to make his firm more efficient. I first met Matt more than 16 years ago. He was an early adopter and believer in drone technology. He shared his excitement about the potential of drones long before they became as popular as they are today. It is no surprise that Matt continues to be at the forefront of technology in his professional endeavors. Here is my conversation with Matt Mishak.
Matt Mishak. I am the managing attorney for Mishak Law, LLC, located in Amherst, Ohio, and North Ridgeville, Ohio.
Welcome, Matt. Thank you for joining us. Could you provide an overview of Mishak Law and your areas of practice?
Yes, we're primarily a family law and domestic relations firm, custody. Another primary area is criminal defense. We practice in the areas of drunk driving defense, domestic violence, violation of protection orders, civil protection orders.
What's something about Mishak Law that most people don't know?
I think one thing is that we have a big focus on serving the client in more efficient ways to do that. And unlike most law firms, we embrace technology. To me, technology is a tool, and it's a tool to deliver better, more efficient results to our clients. And that's about value added. So like any tool, it can be a force multiplier in delivering whatever your customer, whatever your client wants. We try to keep up on those technologies. It's an effort to do, but law firms aren't really in the practice of embracing technology, maybe because we want to be safe. Maybe we think change engenders liability, but we think that we're unique here in doing that. And we think that we can provide services to our clients in ways that other law firms can't.
Tell me about some of the ways you've implemented technology.
I went in March of 2023 to an event called Legal Week in New York. And at that event, they had all kinds of continuing legal education seminars planned as they normally do. But everyone kept talking about something called ChatGPT. And although I fancy myself a technologist, if you will, somebody who's interested in technology, I had never heard of ChatGPT. And I just remember thinking, I don't know what that is, but they got to think of a better name for it because it's just hard to say. But I remember going to a seminar about ChatGPT, and we were in a room, and those hotels, they have these partitions that are in there, and I got a seat, and more people started flooding in. And next thing you know, they're taking down the next partition and more people are flooding in. You could look around the room and what the presenter was saying about this artificial intelligence technology, people's mouths were dropping open. Like, what the heck is this? Soon the next partition on the right face down, it is standing room only. And for the rest of the 4-day conference, that's all anybody talked about. At the time, ChatGPT had passed the New York State bar at the lower 10%, but passed it. ChatGPT 3.5 came on the scene, I think November 30th of 2022. And that's really when that iteration came out. And no sooner did I get back, they came out with ChatGPT 4, and that passed the New York State bar at the top 10%. So that started the fascination with, wow, this is very powerful. It is a huge force multiplier. In my mind, artificial intelligence at this point is like having the genie in the bottle. You can summons really any expertise that you want and have it do your bidding if you know how to use the technology. I took a 13-hour course, started learning about it, and try to find ways to use it to help the clients. Everything from image generation for marketing to legal research in certain confines where it's reliable. We use it to help the clients and expedite that. And what I learned about a recent conference is there's about 85% of legal need out there in the community that is not served. So lawyers only serve about 15% of that. 85% people ask Uncle Joe. They engage in self-help. Maybe they do both. They do some research on their own and ask their family and friends about it. And a big portion do nothing. So I think that this force multiplier is going to allow us to serve that underserved legal market in a way that's never been done before. And in a big way, what I think we do in the law is we solve problems, and not in a medical way, but really what I think we do at this firm is we ease human suffering, right? People come to us with being unsure about things, and we want them to know that we are dotting the I's, crossing the T's. We have dedication to what their legal matter is, so they can go on and work their job and take care of their kids with the confidence to know that whatever comes out of it is going to be the best result possible.
Beyond just the law part of it, how else have you used AI to operate the business or support the business operations?
I'm continuing to experiment in ways, but you can use AI to write ad copy, for example. I found the best way to use AI is to come up with a concept, and AI is an assistant, right? I really think that at the end of the day, the human beings having a spark of imagination is really what this still comes from, right? So if you have an idea, AI can only help you with it, right? So you do, what's the old phrase, 10% inspiration, 90% perspiration, right? So if you got that 10% inspiration, I think AI helps with that, the 90% perspiration, and it really gets you to that point that you want to be. So I think that if you have a dream of starting a business or doing something with a business, realize now that you can do things much faster and you can solve the problems that you need to with associated with that business to move it forward.
Let's switch over and talk a little bit about you. What is your background and what led you to this position?
I think in some way I've always been a problem solver, much like an itch you have to scratch. When I saw somebody that was downtrodden by a problem that they were having, I never could quite resist Ed going up and saying, "What's wrong? Why is this dragging you down?" And I feel in some ways that I started very early on battling small monsters and then grew an appetite for bigger ones. And now I like to think that I really probably handle some of the biggest problems that people have, most pressing problems that they have. So it's always been a desire to do that. And I think that it's just something I've not been ever able to resist doing. So I'm not going to say it's all altruistic, but I've just been drawn into helping people solve their problems and moving them on to a better place. Really done it all my life. And I think now I just get paid for it.
How long ago did you start the firm?
I started the firm and really incorporated in January of 2017. So we're in our 8th year.
What were you doing prior to that?
I was a government attorney. I was a chief prosecutor for the city of Elyria. Prior to that, I worked as a prosecutor for Lorain County.
In the time since starting Mishak Law, what are you most proud of accomplishing?
I think that I'm proud of the fact that we've been able to survive, first of all. I think they say most small businesses fail within the first 5 years. I think that I'm proud that this firm is developed in a way that's given people jobs and opportunities. I've tried to make the firm a place where I would want to work. So we have benefits. I would want benefits in a job. That's something we do. It's not easy. Benefits are not cheap. So you got to kind of work to do that. We offer competitive salaries. We offer 401k plan. I think to answer your question, I'm most proud of making Mishak Law a place that I would want to work.
What's something most people don't know about you that you'd want them to know?
I'm an amateur photographer, I'll tell you that. And I am a very creative person. So even though law is not always associated with being creative, I have a constant need to be creative. I got into photography, and I'm not saying I'm a great photographer. I just like it. But I got into photography because I started flying drones. And at the time, it was very early on with that. I had a previous company called DroneWorks where we actually did the first commercial flight that was FAA authorized in downtown Cleveland. And I was going and trying to teach people about drones. Maybe a lot of people know about that about me. I don't know. But it was interesting to see how that developed because early on, I was building drones before you could buy them. And there's a lot of effort involved in that. And what happened is I traveled around and spoke about that with the idea that it could be an economic boon for Lorain County. I was working at the Fab Lab at Lorain County Community College at the time and became enamored with Lorain County's manufacturing history and saddened by the way that edge was blunted over time and overseas. I saw drones and the aerospace industry as an opportunity to maybe get involved in that because it's highly specialized, precision parts, all the areas where maybe the experts said that maybe manufacturing areas could still be viable versus overseas cheap labor. Anyway, so that kind of started that journey for me. And I thought, hey, this is cool. Maybe we could build an industry. So through 18 months, 24 months, 36 months, when I was learning about drones and building, I tried to put that class into about a 2-hour presentation and bring people up to speed about what I knew in all that time, all my trials and tribulations of learning about it, bring them up to speed with knowledge. So what was really cool about that is that I saw in time, I became like a hub of a wheel of that in the local community. And in time, I was learning from all those people early on that I had passed my knowledge on to. So I became much more knowledgeable about things and was the guy who knew where to go, whether it was law enforcement or surveying and connect some people. One of the things that maybe people don't know about me is that me and my partner, Mike Hanna with DroneWorks, we actually started the drone demonstration section of the Cleveland National Air Show, which I think is going into its 8th year. We did the first drone demonstration at a national air show. I guess my creativity and my involvement in drone technology and my amateur photography, and I'm a creative person.
Are you still doing drone?
I do. In fact, I was just recent vacation with my family. I did some drone photography. I always got to check up on if we were out of the country. So I was looking at the local laws and making sure I don't get myself in some foreign, prison somewhere. But yeah, I still like doing it. I still like doing that. A lot of the work we did for our business, we were early on. So we worked on the Matthew McConaughey movie that was out. We actually worked on a Bruce Willis production that was in Cleveland. So we got to do some, pretty exciting things. We did the first drone satellite broadcast at a World Series at the 2016 World Series. We did the Cavs parade. We filmed that. So we did a lot of cool stuff.
Are you doing any legal work with drone companies?
I have done legal presentations on drone technology, and I have worked as an expert witness. I've done a little bit of legal work, and I continue to consult on that area. So it's one of our specialties, kind of niche.
Going forward, what are your personal goals and what do you hope to accomplish?
Recently in the firm, it's expanded, and I think that a lot of businesses, when they grow, it's a process where you maybe can't do the work that you have, you're successful, and you hire somebody else to help out. And you really never turn around and look at the machinery that you're going through and making sure it's functioning well. So over the past few months, we are really looking at the business and delivering value to our clients. We look at what our clients really want, how we deliver that more efficiently, and really in touch with our system. So my goal is that this will be the most efficient law firm and be able to deliver superior legal services. Honestly, with the advent of AI, I think a lot of businesses are changing. Law is one of those businesses that is going to change as well. A lot of knowledge professions are going to change. We are taking advantage of the fact that the legal industry is not one that usually embraces technology. We are the opposite of that. And we believe that we're developing competitive advantage for our clients. And we honestly have a lofty perception on it that we're actually creating the way laws is going to be practiced in the future here.
Outside of work, what are some of your interests and how do they recharge you for your work?
Yes, I like to walk. I like to fly drones. I like to be creative with photography. I am involved with the marketing for the firm. That's a creative endeavor. Love hanging out with my kids. Love going to watch basketball games and cross country meets and soccer. Love that stuff. That's definitely recharges me. Interacting with new people, learning new things. I'm maybe much like you, Ed. Fancy myself a lifetime learner. Always curious in some ways, still don't know what I want to do when I grow up type mentality. But yeah, definitely my family charges me up and is a big reason why I do what I do.
Finally, where can people get more information on Mishak Law and connect with you?
Sure. So you can look us up at mishaklaw.com. That's MISHAKLAW.com. Our phone number is very easy, 440-678-0000. LinkedIn, Matt Mishak, Mishak Law in LinkedIn. We also have Instagram. We're on Facebook. It's all Mishak Law. You can check us out on all those platforms.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Ed. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the LoraineCounty.com Business Insights Podcast. We hope you found this conversation informative and that it provided some ideas that will help your business continue to grow. Please follow us on your favorite podcast platform to hear each episode where we shine a spotlight on local resources that will boost your business. And we want to hear from you. Email ed@loraincounty.com to share your feedback and topic ideas.